That's what started me going to the church. The church was the only place I felt safe. It was peaceful there, as if I was protected. I had somebody I could talk to, somebody that understood. I could never have done it on my own. The craving, you see, the craving was so strong. But he got me through. He did it. The man above. The man on the cross. The first couple of weeks was the worst. One Sunday, I was at the early mass in Gardner Street. When the time came to go to communion, I couldn't get up to go to the altar rail.
The body of Christ.
I couldn't move. Something in my head kept saying, go back, give up, stop fooling yourself. You'll never make it. You're a drunkard. You'll always be a drunkard. It forced me out of the church. I went to Marlborough Street for the 8th Mass. Only the same thing happened. So I go up to Berkeley Road for the 9. Same thing. I go back to Gardner Street.
Jesus, mercy. Mary, help. Jesus, mercy. Mary, help.
I felt like a weight was lifted off me. I went in and received no bother. It was him that done it. I got a little room for myself in Rutland Street. It was handy for the job. I was working in a timber yard down with the quays, T&C Martins. I'd start off the day by getting early mass in Gardner Street. I'd come back and have my breakfast. Then I'd head down my Portland Row on the 5 lamps to the job. On the way, I'd always drop into Seville Place Chapel for a little visit. The work wasn't hard, mostly loading and unloading, checking timber in and out of the yard. Sometimes there'd be a bit of free time between loads. I could go back into my little hut at the back of the yard and say a few prayers. I'd get off work at 6. I'd make another visit to Seville Place on the way home, eat me dinner. Then I'd go to one of the churches for devotions, or a fidelity meeting, or maybe a confraternity, depending on the night I was in it. Reverend Bursar, minute mission to China. Matt Talbot have done no work for past 18 months. I have been sick and given over by priest and doctor. I don't think I will work anymore. There's £1 from me and 10 shillings from my sister. These were my books. My Bible, the Word of God, and the saints. My friend, St. Augustine, St. Ignatius, St. Francis Xavier, St. Alphonsus, and St. Patrick. Of course, we mustn't forget the ladies. The old St. Teresa, St. Catherine of Siena, and St. Teresa, the little flower. They were grand girls. The saints. They went through sometimes, they did. I used to say to myself, if they could do it, Matt, so can you, with the help of God. Of course, it wasn't very easy for me at first, me hardly able to read and all. I had to go very slow. Sometimes I had to read the bit over and over again till I could understand it. There's no harm in that. When you have to read a thing slowly, well, now you don't forget it. It sticks in your mind. As to nobility of blood, true nobility is to be derived only from the blood of the Son of God. Blessed be his holy name. After I'd done my reading, I'd pray. That was the best time, talking to God and his Blessed Mother, listening to them, the joy, the peace of it. Have mercy on me, O God, according to thy great mercy, and according to the multitude of thy tender mercy. Blot out my iniquity. Wash me yet more from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my iniquity, and my sin is always before me. To thee only have I sinned, and done evil before thee, that thou mayest be justified in thy word, and mayest overcome when thou art judged. For behold, I was born in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Thou shalt sprinkle me with hyssop, and I shall be cleansed. Wash me, and I shall be made whiter than snow. To my hearing thou shalt give joy and gladness, and the bones that are humbled shall rejoice. Deliver me from blood, O God of my salvation, and my tongue shall extol thy justice. For if thou hadst desired sacrifice, truly I would have given it,
but with burnt offerings thou wilt not be delighted. A sacrifice to God is a clean heart. A humble and contrite heart, O Lord, thou wilt not despise. In thy mercy, O Lord, deal favorably with Zion, that thy temples shall be rebuilt, and the walls of Jerusalem built up again. Then shall they give offerings to thy altars. Then shall they lay fine calves upon thine altars.
If only people knew. I tried to tell them, but they didn't understand. They thought I was missing the good things in life. But God gave me the best part, and he never took it away. He told me things I was to do. Told me I wasn't to get married. Told me I was to cut down on my food and to sleep on a hard bed. Told me I was to wear a chain round my arm and round my waist. He put these thoughts into my mind when I was praying, and I knew they came from him. I never told anyone about these things, only the priest in confession. They were special things, small things God wanted me to do. They weren't for anybody else. I didn't wear the chains all the time, only for special days. If I'd known I was going to die that Sunday, Trinity Sunday, I wouldn't have put the chains on. When they took me to the hospital, they found the chains, and they started asking questions about me. They ended up writing books. God must have wanted it that way. Maybe he wanted people to know about me. It's like he's using me to say something to people today, now.
Maybe you're like me.
You're taking drink. You're taking drugs. Your life is a mess. You can't help yourself. You've got no one to turn to.
But you have. You've got him. He is my higher power. He did it for me. He can do it for you. Believe me.